Hello, everyone, and welcome back to fUNfiltered, where we answer the real questions that authors are asking about marketing their books. And today, I am here with Heather. Hello, Heather.
Hello. Good to see you.
Good to see you too. Always fun to do this with you. Today, we're going to, I don't know if you know this or not, probably do because we have talked about it. We're going to challenge something that we hear authors say all the time. So that is the statement, I just need to get my book in front of more people. And the answer is maybe. What if the problem, or the bigger problem, I guess I would say, isn't that you need more people, but what if you need to get your book in front of the right people?
That's good. Well, a thousand people who have absolutely no reason to care about your book are not nearly as valuable as 50 people who would immediately think, oh my goodness, that is exactly what I need.
Yeah, exactly. And if you've been around us for any length of time, you've heard us say that one of the biggest shifts an author can make really in their marketing is to stop trying to market to everyone and start really identifying exactly who is most likely to need your book, and not just who, but why they need it. So today we're going to show you how to do that in 4 really practical steps. And I even have an example of it in my own kind of world. So I'll throw that in there at the appropriate time. So what's the first one, Heather?
Perfect. So the first one is stop marketing to everyone. So start with a phrase that we hear a lot. My book is for women, which is great. That's good to know. But which women?
Right, because there's like a billion of them, right?
Yeah. So exactly. So we hear my book is for Christian women ages 40 to 65, which is a little bit better, but it still doesn't tell you enough to market effectively, because good reader targeting goes so much deeper than just age or gender or even faith. What you want to know is this: what is happening in the person's life when she becomes most likely to reach for your book?
Yeah, I think that's a really good question, Heather, because it does change your entire mindset. So, we've had a lot of authors who have written books on grief. And so let's say that you're writing a book about trusting God through your grief. So your reader simply isn't the Christian woman ages 40 to 65 who've experienced loss.
Hmm.
Um, and you can even shift that age. It doesn't really matter the age, because maybe she lost her husband 6 months ago.
Yeah.
And those, at the beginning of that loss, people were there for her, but now, like, they don't bring casseroles to her house anymore. Everyone else in the world has gone back to life as normal, but she hasn't. And so she's lying awake at night wondering whether she'll ever feel like herself again. She may even be Googling and trying to get answers from Google or even Chat GPT. How do you trust God after losing someone? Or maybe she's looking for Christian grief support, or even asking questions like, why am I still grieving after all these months?
Yeah. So thinking through all of those questions that you just said, now we know something that is more useful, because now you understand what's actually happening in the reader's life. So you can begin to understand what that reader will be searching for, the words that she may use, the questions that she's asking, where she may already be looking for help.
Yeah. So here's really something simple that you could do to figure this out. So take a sheet of paper and finish these sentences. And I don't know, Heather, are you going to put them up, or are we going to put them in the chat? I could do
You can put
that.
them in the chat. I can put them
Yeah,
in the
let's put
chat.
them in the chat. That's a good idea. So here's the sentence. Like, my reader is most likely to need my book when. So coming up with that time frame of when is your message going to most fit her need? Or perhaps something like, what is your reader thinking or feeling at the time? Maybe even, what is she searching for? What is it that she is looking for more than anything else? And you may even ask the question or fill in the blank to, she's probably already listening to, following, maybe attending a group, trusting someone or trusting someone's advice, like who is she already listening to? And that, of course, will help you recognize, the voices that she's hearing and how you can come alongside that. And really, when you think about these statements, don't really rush through it, because those 4 answers to those 4 questions are going to help you make a lot of marketing decisions.
Yeah. Okay, so the first one was stop marketing to everyone. And the second is find 3 maybe smaller audiences for the same book. So here's where this gets really interesting. Your right reader may not be the only audience that you should market to.
Right. I think authors really miss that part.
Yeah. So let's stay on the grief book, for example. Your primary reader might be a woman grieving the loss of someone that she loves, but who else already has access to that woman? Maybe it's a group leader, somebody that she's connected with, what you were talking about before. Who is she already listening to? A hospice chaplain, a funeral home bereavement coordinator, maybe a pastor or a Christian counselor, a widow's ministry leader. So many
Yeah.
options.
Yeah, those are all micro audiences, and they're smaller and very specific groups, but get this, they're connected to the same need that your book addresses. They may not be the person that your book addresses, but they're connected to that person. That's a huge difference. And we always say, like, you market, you have 2 different audiences. You have your reader who you write your book for, and then you have your person that you market towards. So who are those people that you are marketing? And that list that Heather just gave is the person that has the audience that you need. So these are really, they are the niche. They're the smaller, very specific groups connected to that audience member or your reader. And sometimes they can get your book into the hands of far more right readers than you could reach one person at a time.
Exactly. So imagine this difference. You could post on Amazon, you could post on your social media, my grief book is available on Amazon. So you're telling everybody and hope that a grieving woman happens to see it. Or you could identify 20 grief support ministries and then introduce the book to people who are already serving grieving women every single week. So those are 2 completely different marketing strategies.
Yeah. And Heather, it made me think of the book that I have right here by my desk.
Exactly what I was thinking.
Of course, our friend Sharon and Lori. And, when this book came out, and it still is serving its audience very well, it's called Surviving Widowhood. It's probably kind of hard to see. There you go. Surviving Widowhood. 40 devotionals that are written by these 2, mom and daughter, who both lost their spouses, and really reaches the reader about the first year of their grieving, but can reach beyond. And I know personally, like, they have got this in the hands of even the pastor at my church. So we have these on the shelf so that when someone comes in to do a plan a funeral service, this is the gift that we give. And then we have a good friend who is a financial planner. And we have gotten these books for him too. And he purchases them every time they run out, because they meet with a lot of older people, women specifically, who lose their spouse, and they want to offer them some additional comfort and support. And this book really does it. And so really thinking through, like, who is that niche audience? And it doesn't just work for grieving, it works for almost any book. So I know Devin's watching today, and she kind of wrote a book more for women in general, but for moms in a busy season, the same season that she's in her life. And maybe you wrote a book for busy moms. Maybe you write a book for children with special needs. And so your audience could be the moms themselves. It could be special needs ministry leaders. It could be Christian therapists or support group leaders. Let's say like Michelle Riddell, who wrote a book that was a devotional for teachers.
Yes.
The teachers are the one audience, but it also could be the audience of Christian school administrators or a teacher's ministry organization. So think beyond just the reader and who has the reader that you want to market to.
Absolutely. And then children's authors, this is huge for you. The child may be the reader, but the child usually isn't the buyer. So your audience could include parents, that's kind of the obvious one, or grandparents, maybe teachers or children's ministry leaders, homeschool groups, even librarians.
Yeah. So the question is really asking yourself, who needs your book? Yes, that's the reader. But then ask who serves, who influences or gathers, or perhaps they have a group where they're teaching them or leading them. Who is going to buy your book for the people in their group? Because that second question really does open up marketing opportunities that you may have never considered. And think outside the box on this one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then I think the one that we didn't include in any of these, but is equally valid for all, are friends. All of us know someone who is walking through each of these situations. And so don't underestimate the power of just a conversation with someone who may know someone who needs that book.
Yeah,
So,
that's good.
okay.
That's good.
Okay, so number 3, moving right along, map where those readers already gather. Okay, so now we know who we are looking for. That's that starting point. So the next question that can be asked is, where can I promote my book? Where am I going to put my book? And we actually want you to replace that question with this one. Where does my reader already go? That is such a better marketing question. Would you agree,
Yeah.
Carol?
Yeah, it is, because she already is she already going for help, and where is that?
Mhm.
Where does that reader go for information or encouragement? Is there a community that she is a part of? Are there resources that could help her, or even entertainment, honestly?
Yeah.
So think through the people that are already speaking into her life.
Mhm. So this is where marketing will start to become so much more specific. So let's say your book helps women recover after divorce. Your reader may already be listening to certain podcasts. We know that. That's a really easy one for people to go to these days. They might already be part of a Christian divorce recovery group or attending divorce care. Following counselors or ministries online, they may be searching YouTube for help or going to women's ministry events. They might be reading blogs or newsletters about starting over. We have such a access to resources these days. So think through all of those things.
Yeah, and I want to point out what we're not saying or what we're not doing. Um, we're not saying I need to be on Instagram because authors are supposed to be on Instagram.
No.
And Instagram could be useful, maybe it isn't.
Yeah.
But what I'm thinking with social media is so crowded. Like, there is so many people speaking and promoting and doing all the things that, honestly, when I get on social media, it is almost to the point of overwhelm.
Yeah.
And I don't need any more overwhelm in my life. And the constant scroll is numbing, and you don't even really pay attention often when you're on it. So really think through, are your readers really on social media, the people that really need your book? Because it helps us to more look beyond social media. I will tell you right now, the only books that I buy from social media is a friend that I trust, that when I see her post and she says, buy this book on social, like, this book did this for me, or I love this book, or this is one of my favorites. That's typically the only book I buy.
Mm-hmm.
if
Yeah.
I really think that it's going to fit my need. So really go beyond social media, because your reader is gathering everywhere
Mm-hmm.
beyond social media, like churches, support groups, associations. Maybe you need to start attending conferences that has people that are part of your audience. I think one of the greatest places, and this is my example, is Facebook groups, because groups really do identify a target person. We have podcasts, we have newsletters, there are libraries or schools. Maybe there's a group of people doing a retreat, or professional organizations or groups in your community. And sometimes a small yet highly specific organization is worth far more than a huge social media audience.
I love that. I think all of those were great examples of community, of gathering, as opposed to social media that's very isolating, where people are just scrolling on past. So I love
Yep.
those. So here's another very practical exercise. So if you were to create 3 columns: where they gather, who already has their trust, and how I could serve or connect. Do you want to put those in the chat?
Yeah, I think that's really good.
Where they gather, and then who already has their trust, and how I could serve or connect. Notice it doesn't say how I could get them to buy my book. We want to be serving them. Give yourself a goal of finding at least 10 possibilities. So here's an example. Maybe a podcast that your reader listens to, pitch yourself to the podcaster as a guest. Maybe a ministry that is serving your reader. Introduce your book as a possible resource for that ministry. For a Facebook group, what Carol mentioned, participate genuinely and become helpful before ever promoting anything. That's huge. People can really sense when they're being sold to. And nobody wants that, but yet people do want to connect. And so participate genuinely. A church ministry, offer a workshop or a resource. You may have to do it free in the beginning, offer your services. A support group leader, send a personal introduction and perhaps maybe a copy of your book so that they know what you're talking about and have a chance to look at it. There's an example we have. I don't know if Rob is watching, but he shared his book with a counselor and she's raved about it and is going to recommend it to people. All he had to do was mention it. And so that's a very easy, tangible way to connect with someone who has the group, who has his audience, and might be able to offer it as a resource.
Yeah, for sure. I meet with authors all the time that said, oh, I gave it to this one individual and they're going to buy 100 copies for their office or for their ministry, or, and so you never know what one connection can do to really bolster the impact of your message. So I think really the last column is really important, is how can I serve or connect? Not the question about them promoting your book or advertising your book for you, but how can you really serve them? When you're first starting out as an author, really that point is so crucial, because people want to see that you are available, that you are who you say you are. By helping and being providing service to others is really giving you an additional level of credibility. Mm-hmm. I know that a lot of my speaking engagements that I get are because someone told them about me, because I became credible to their audience and they told someone else. So tomorrow morning, I'm speaking at a church. I have no connection to this church whatsoever, except that a friend of mine gave them my name when their speaker canceled 2 months ago. Wow. And so I get to go up and I get to speak to these women, and I get to, and I also am bringing books that are specific to the needs that they have and what they are currently doing. So they are going to be studying the book of Psalms this year, and I happen to have a devotional that walks through Psalms, 2 of them, different Psalms, and then I have a Psalm journal that I was able to get through Crossway, and so I'm able to take those up there, sell them at my table, and now I am getting credibility with not only the leader, but now all the women that are going to be in that room. So you never know, what serving one audience is going to do when they get your name shifted over to another. So you're really looking for that genuine connection point where your message is going to help solve their problem. It's going to help answer questions that they have and encourage someone and support the work that they're already doing.
Yeah, that's so good. That's so good. I love the example of that connection. It just takes time. It takes
time. A lot of time. So
yeah.
don't lose hope. Keep moving.
Keep going. Okay, let's go to number 4. Availability is not discoverability. This is a big one. It's something that is so important to understand, because just because your book is on Amazon doesn't mean that anyone knows it's there. There are thousands and thousands of books on Amazon.
Yeah, more like millions, but close. 4 million books are published a year. 4 million books are published a year. That's over 10,000 a day.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think like 1.5 are US only. I don't even remember. The numbers are astronomical.
Yeah. And especially with the movement of self-publishing.
Yeah.
Like, it's so accessible to everyone, which is great.
Kind of. Kind of can be great.
Kind of can be great.
So let's go back to availability, not discoverability. Being available and being discoverable are not the same thing. So you can have a beautifully published book, which those of you who are watching today, I know you do have those. And it can be listed on Amazon. It can be available in Barnes and Noble through distributors like Ingram. And you can still have very few people encounter it, because those are places where someone can buy your book, but they're not the automatic reason someone will discover your book. So your book still has to have a pathway.
Yeah, absolutely. A way to get people there. So you think Amazon is the store. You still have to help people get to the store, or get to the store for the reason to shop for your book. There's a lot of people on Amazon all the time, but that doesn't mean they're looking for your book. So those pathways that Carol mentioned may include something like a podcast interview that would send a listener to look for your book, a church recommending it to a small group, maybe a guest article that you wrote, or a speaking engagement, your email list, a ministry partnership, YouTube videos answering questions for your reader, that's something that they're searching for, a book club, resource page on someone else's website, so many things that can lead them there from externally. But one of the big ones that we love are the lead magnets. Someone who's already found you, and then you can connect them with a lead magnet that takes them to your email list, but also eventually introduces the book to them.
Yeah, that gives you a really helpful question to ask about every marketing activity you do. So the question would be this: what path does this create between my right reader and my book? Posting by my book over and over again is not a pathway, but appearing on a podcast your reader trusts, and then talking about that problem, the very problem that your book solves, that's a pathway. And so when you think of partnering with someone, you partner with a ministry that's already serving your reader. That's the pathway. You're teaching a workshop or offering your book as the next resource. Like, that's the pathway.
Yeah, so many options. Okay, so thinking through all of these things, let's bring it down to some really tangible steps. What should you do this week, making this super practical? Do not try to do 20 things. We just listed out so many things, but it's to give you ideas. Sit down with a blank page and do these 4 things. So number 1, you're going to describe one specific right reader based on what is happening in that person's life. So not just those demographics, not just the age and that they're a believer and that, but you want what is happening in their life right now. Number 2, identify 3 micro audiences connected to that reader. Then number 3, we'll say 10 is a super easy and tangible target. 10 places, people, ministries, organizations, groups, communities, that kind of thing, that has your audience already gathered, or those that you have a trusted audience and a relationship with. And then number 4, choose 3 realistic pathways that you can begin building over the next 30 days. Okay, so not tomorrow, but over the next 30 days. We're thinking, remember, time, slow build.
Yeah, and I would go one step further with these, is put actual names besides them. So don't just put like, I'm going to reach out to a podcast. Well, which podcast are you reaching out to? There's millions of those too. Don't say, I might reach out to some churches. Well, which churches? What's the first church that you could target? What's the first church that you could walk up to their office door and leave a book for their women's ministry director, for their pastor, for their youth pastor? Not, I should connect with some ministries, or I'm going to connect with some ministries this week. Well, which ministry are you going to connect, and how are you going to connect with them?
Mhm.
Marketing comes so much easier when you replace the categories that we're talking about with actual names. And here's another thing I want you to do. As you put the name down of the place, like let's say for me, there's a church down the street who the name is Mission Church.
Mhm.
And it's a pretty big mega church, and I've done a few things there. But if I say like, I really want to, I should offer to speak at their women's Christmas event. Maybe that's something I could do to get my Advent devotional into more people's hands. And so I may not know, I do personally know the women's ministry director, so I could reach out directly to her. But if I didn't, our kids go there, so I could reach out to our daughter and say, hey, can you reach out to Rachel and see if she'd be interested in this, or a friend that I have that goes there. So it not just put the connection down. So the name of the church, First Baptist Church of whatever, or Community Church over on the hills, but who do you know there that would know the person that could reach out for you? So even
Yeah.
go a step further than just a name of a
Yeah.
place.
Yes, that makes so much sense. And I think across the board, outside of being an author and trying to sell your book, we always get stuck when we don't know what the next step is. And we think too vaguely. We have a to-do list and it's all of the same things that you put, but you don't have the next step that is necessary to get it done. So that's what this is. Instead of leaving with a good idea that sounds good, you're going to actually leave with something that is more like, this week I'm going to research these specific 5 podcasts, or I'm going to introduce myself to these specific ministry leaders, send these review copies to organizations. So now you're getting traction because you have specific steps.
Yeah. So if you don't remember anything else from today, remember this. You don't need to figure out how to reach everyone. I think that is very freeing.
Yes.
But
Yes.
you need to get really good at finding the people who are already looking for what your book has to offer, and the people you already have, or the people who already have access to that audience.
Yes. Because when you know who the right reader is, what they need, where they gather, who they already trust, your marketing will stop feeling so random. And then you can finally make decisions based on something other than, well, everybody says that I should be doing this.
Exactly. And if you need help figuring out your right reader and who they really are, then turning that into a practical marketing plan. And that's what we do together inside Book Marketing Pro Academy. So you can go to bookmarketingproacademy.com and just find out a little bit more about that.
Mm-hmm.
So there you can bring your book, you can bring your questions, and we're going to help you put feet to it. So yeah, this was good, Heather.
Yeah. Very practical. And I think every single person watching can do this very easily.
Yeah, I need to do more of it. And I did want to give the example of social media, and I think I've probably given it before, but it never hurts to do it again. You know, I used to have an author page on Facebook that doesn't get very much traction, just because of how Facebook sets up a business page like that.
Yeah.
But yet when I place something on my profile, you know, even though I don't even know, let's say 4,000 people, it doesn't always get a lot of interaction because of how Facebook and the algorithms and all the things happen there.
Yes.
But in a Facebook group, people are in my group specifically because they are interested in what I do or how I teach, or a book that I have. And that group, anytime I post, they will get notification, or I can actually once a day make sure the notification comes in by saying at everyone, and then I can do my post. So a Facebook group, even though it's only, I think I have about 800 people in my Facebook group, but that's still an incredible amount of people who are my audience, who also know people who are my audience. And so every time I do some type of promotion in my Facebook group, it grows again and again. And it grows even more when I collaborate with another author and have them do a promotion with me.
That's so good.
So that is the best. I think that is one of the best uses as an author, especially one with a specific audience member in mind, to really help you grow, your book audience membership.
So good. So for practical, for just knowledge, is this your personal, just a Facebook group you started for Carol Tetzlaff author, or
Yeah.
was
I
it
mean,
originally from an event?
I started it when I had I had a lead magnet that I was trying to get people to be part of so that I could
Yeah.
promote a book. And so I just started a Facebook group and did some interesting things that people were, found that it would be something helpful for them. And so every once in a while I'll do like a 30-day journey through a book of the Bible, or in September, I'm going to be doing my Nehemiah study, and we're going to do it day by day together. And so it gives them something tangible to hold
Yeah.
on to.
That's so good. Yeah, social media really is a great place to make announcements, but connection, those groups are so, so much more effective.
Yeah.
So, yeah, thanks for
And we
sharing that.
happen to have a training in Book Marketing Pro Academy on how to do a Facebook group. Look at
So
that.
convenient. Look at that.
So convenient. So anyways, until next time, we just want to ask you, keep showing up faithfully for your readers who needs the message that God has entrusted for you.
Yes, we're so happy you joined us today. We will see you next time on FUNfiltered. Have a good
Bye.
weekend. Bye.
Bye, everyone.